Hello and welcome to another episode of the Practical Guide to a Positively Full Life with your host, your go-to friend, which is me. Today we're going to talk about how to have a conversation about a problem with somebody you're having it with. It's relatively simple, so it might be a short video, I'm not sure, but let's just get into it. I'm going to talk about this technique in other videos. So if I refer to it, please just refer to this video. In short, it's rather simple, like most of the aspects that I've been talking about. But it starts off with listening. So let's say you are in a discussion with someone and you have a disagreement, you have a problem, and you each cannot come to any type of solution. Usually, when this happens, a lot of negative things can happen. Emotions, different aspects. Look at the emotion videos if you're at that point to be able to process the emotions in reference to the other person. You cannot do anything about that, but you can make it a safe environment, and you can put yourself out there so that they can then open up about their emotions as well. And for example, we'll go into other stuff, but it's just being like, you know what, let's just take a break. I feel like I can't, I can't actively process this right now, or whatever you want to say. And then when you come back, say, unfortunately at that time I felt too negative, or I felt like I was being taken advantage of. And I know that's not what you want. I know that's not what you intend, but I needed to process it on my own. Now I'm ready to have a conversation. Now, assuming you're here, what you want to start off with is going over listening. And this is, lots of people talk about this, but in its essence, it is just listening. Now, practice it, try it. In my coaching classes, we practice it, and many people struggle with it. I struggle with it. It's not easy. It's not something we naturally do. As human beings, we like to listen to ourselves talk, and it's pretty much the opposite. And the way you can practice this is talk with somebody about anything, but say nothing. I know it sounds weird, but or say almost nothing, in which you focus on what the other person's saying, and all you do in that moment that they're speaking is just listen. I know it sounds super simple and super easy, but try it. It's not. And what you want to do is not listen to try to put in your example, or not listen to prove them wrong, and not listen to, say something you want to say. There's a lot of different types of listening. You can just let them talk because you're just waiting for yourself to talk, so you're not really listening anyways. You can listen, and then just to hear where they're wrong so that you can get your point across. And there's lots of different types. I'm not going to go over all of them. Pretty much the one you want to focus on is listening with nothing else on your mind, not thinking about anything. All you're thinking about is what the person's saying, and all you want is to listen to the degree that you can positively enforce that person to keep speaking. What that means is asking actual deep questions, not being like, oh, that's interesting, being like, oh, wow, that must have been really difficult. What did you do next? And if you do this, a person, I mean, it's amazing. You can get someone to talk for hours, and they'll love you. They will think you could have just met the person, and you can do this, and afterwards they will think you are their best friend, that you are the best person in the world, and they will literally know nothing about you. I know it sounds odd, but it goes back to that thing where we like to be listened to, and we like to talk about ourselves. And so this is pretty much giving someone the ultimate outlet for that. Now, when you do it for somebody you're having a discussion with that is not going well, what you want to do is that you want to just listen, and ideally write stuff down. Tell them you're going to be writing stuff down so you better remember, what's important to them, and just listen and continue listening. Once it's all done, confirm that they're done. And don't. And there's a lot of different ways you can do this in a negative fashion, like you're done, But do it in the sense of, was that your complete, thought, or was there anything else that was concerning you? You can do different, you can say it in different manners in which you're actually showing that you actually want to understand completely what is bothering them in whatever you're discussing. Once you do that, then you have to go back and in your own words repeat what they told you. Sometimes it can be very long-winded, and you can stop someone and just be like, okay, there was a lot there to process. Give me a minute to just gather my thoughts. And you can just say, and then a lot of times don't be like, so what you said is this. Just go back and say, so what I'm getting is your concern is this, because of this. Once you get confirmation, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Okay, great. Um, and ask them to confirm. I know it sounds extra work and why isn't necessary, they just said yes, but get them to actually say, so what you're saying is XYZ. Is this right? Is this correct? Yes, you are correct in stating my perspective. I know it sounds like an extra step, but it's actually really important because them saying it out loud will change their mindset sometimes, but it's good overall, and you'll see because it builds on top of itself. Once you get there, then you say, okay, great. I want to take a moment and actually, tell you my perspective. And is that okay? And most likely, I mean, if they say no, then you have bigger problems. But assuming, when you get that confirmation, and I've done it with people I've told, unfortunately, they're not getting a bonus, feeling listened to, even when things don't go your way, makes a world of difference. And it keeps people loyal to you. It keeps people just want to be listened to. So even if something's going badly, if they feel like they were listened to, then they'll stay because they understand that you understand the problem. And despite that, unfortunately, you have to do something that you don't want to do to them. So back to it. Listen to them, repeat it in your own words, get the confirmation, then say your perspective. And we're pretty much going to be doing the same thing the other way around. Have them tell you in their own words what you just said and get the confirmation. Sometimes you're like, well, actually, no, that's not what I meant. And sometimes that's could be the problem. The way you're communicating your concern is not clear. And that's okay. That's why we're going through this, process. Once you get that to agree, then you say, you are correct in stating my perspective. You understand it. Great. Usually at this point, most of the time, a big green light will go off and be like, oh, I think I got the solution. Either of you, because you understand each other's perspective, and then you can propose it, and there might be some tweaks, but you're both open because you both feel listened to. And what you're going to see in this technique is at the point of someone saying, wow, you get my perspective, will be big for that person. And then same thing for you. When you say you understand my perspective, that will actually lift the weight off. And once you both have it out there, you'll be able to see things a lot more clearly. Now, that doesn't mean you're always going to solve the problem. Sometimes you have to go, and sometimes there's technical issues, and sometimes the problem just isn't, you're just not able to solve the problem, and that's okay. But most of the time, you should be. And once you do that, the next part is relatively easy. You get each person to say whatever is agreed to, and out loud, and you say what each person's commitment is to that agreement. And then what it will be the next step and when. Now, all these points are small, but they're important. You have to have, everyone has to understand what the agreement is. Sometimes you're like, okay, we got it, boom, and you're out, and you realize that what's in your mind is different from what was said sometimes. And you don't realize it until after when you come to terms with it. But if you do this, each person can say what they believe the agreement is, then you can get that out of the way. And then when you state what does that mean that person's going to agree to and when, then you don't have to be, okay, he said he's going to do it, but I don't know if that means he's going to do all of it or just part of it. No, he said or she said they were going to do X by this time. The next step is XYZ, and we're going to meet up at XY time. Done. This will allow you to just put it back and move forward. And we'll talk about, focusing on the now, but that's focusing on the now. And then not thinking about it because you know what you have to do, you can schedule it, and you don't have to worry about this problem until it's time to come back to it, assuming you scheduled the time you need to actually fix that problem. And that's it. Sounds simple, but not always easy. if you like this video or you think you know someone who might help, please forward it along. Please follow or subscribe us on all social media at Cultum Vita. And that's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, even if you didn't, if you think it will help someone, that's the reason why I'm here. Take care. See you next time.